In 2002, amidst the sun-scorched city of Miami, a crime procedural series premiered and redefined style on the small screen. CSI Miami created a global sensation, with its story of a crime scene investigation team using cutting-edge science to solve the most complex cases under the city's neon lights. The work was not only a resounding commercial success, but also became an unforgettable part of an entire generation's memory, with its iconic sunglasses becoming a symbol. But behind those sunglasses and the faint blue light of the crime lab were actors with their own very separate fates, with tragedies even more grim than the cases they investigated. More than 2 decades have passed, and time has etched different marks on their lives. Some continued to shine brightly, some chose a quieter path, and there were also those who had to stop their journey in tragedy. Let us look back at the tumultuous journey of the cast that brought the soul to CSI Miami. Evan Ellingson as Kyle Harmon. In CSI Miami, the character of Kyle Harmon was a deeply emotional storyline. The troubled, long-lost son of Horatio Kane himself, he was a young man on the brink of going astray, a soul in need of redemption, caught up in cases and bad choices. Evan Ellingson's performance at the time, at age 19, was an authentic and promising portrayal of a young man searching for his path, bringing a humane depth and vulnerability to a series that was otherwise very tough. This role brought him special attention, opening the door to Hollywood after years of effort in smaller parts. The bright glare of the screen had turned him into a promising face. After his initial success with the role, Evan's career seemed wide open. He was a promising young face, a child star who had grown up ready for bigger roles. But his real life took a tragic turn no one could have predicted. The shock of losing his brother Austin in 2008 to a drug overdose pushed Evan down a dark path and unbearable pain. He began to struggle with addiction, a harrowing battle between his desire to return to the screen and the darkness of substance abuse. He made numerous attempts at rehabilitation, searching for the light, but every glimmer of hope seemed to be extinguished by relapse, pulling him deeper into the abyss. His career gradually faded, leaving behind the image of a once promising young talent who was now just a shadow of his former self, lonely amidst the harsh glare of Hollywood, where being forgotten comes as quickly as fame once did. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of a troubled young man facing life or death choices eerily mirrored his own life. But while the character Kyle Harmon on screen eventually found redemption through his father, found a path to start over in real life, Evan Ellingson could not find his own way out. He was drowned in the very tragedy. His character was lucky enough to escape. However, that tormented and painful journey had to come to a sudden end. On November 5, 2023, Evan Ellingson passed away at the age of 35 from a fentanyl overdose. His passing left a great void and inconsolable grief for his family and the fans who had once loved him. The legacy he left behind is not just his roles, but a tragic life story about the terrible price of fame that came too soon and the unforgiving battle with addiction. A painful reminder of the lost souls behind the stage lights. Nicole DeHoof as Carrie Delgado. In CSI Miami, the character Carrie Delgado was a dedicated blood test technician, one of the unsung heroes of the lab, whose meticulous work was the key to solving many cases. Though it was a small role, it was a significant step forward, promising a bright future for the young actress. Nicole DeHoof's performance at the time, at age 28, was an authentic portrayal of a professional and intelligent medical expert, a new and potential face. Nicole's career was on the rise at the time. After making an impression in the hit film Meet the Parents, all doors seemed to be opening for her. But life has turns no one can predict. Just 2 years after appearing on the series, she began to experience severe respiratory problems. She went to the one place where she should have been saved, the hospital, but instead she became a victim of misdiagnosis and indifference. Time and again, she was sent home with a diagnosis of bronchitis, while a more serious illness was silently ravaging her body. her cries for help went unheard, and her hope for survival was extinguished by the very negligence of the medical system that should have been her last line of defense. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. There seems to be a tragic irony between her character and her fate. While on screen, she played a medical professional part of a system dedicated to finding the truth to save people in real life. She died because that very system failed to uncover the truth about her own illness. She became a victim of the very field her character was dedicated to. However, that promising journey had to come to an abrupt and unjust end. On February 16, 2005, Nicole DeHoof took her last breath at the age of 30 due to pneumonia that was not diagnosed in time. Her passing left a great void and shock to those who knew her, leaving behind her husband and a heartbroken family. The legacy she left behind is not just her roles, but a thought-provoking life story about the fragility of fate and the injustices of life. A cautionary tale about the importance of listening to patients. Michael Madsen as Coop Daly. In CSI Miami, the character Coop Daly was a guest role. A weary man who had been through many ups and downs, carrying the weight of his past. Michael Madsen's performance at the time at age 46 brought the familiar, gritty, intense, and powerful presence of a movie star to the small screen, making a strong impression on the audience, a presence that could not be ignored. Haunted him his entire life, destroying his health, causing broken marriages and endless legal troubles. But the greatest tragedy of his life struck in 2022, when his son Hudson, an active-duty serviceman, committed suicide due to depression. The pain of losing his son pushed him deeper into despair, causing his career and family to crumble under the weight of an unbearable loss. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the tough bad boy characters with tormented souls that he often played on screen were a tragic reflection of his own turbulent and painful life. The tough, uncaring exterior in his films was just a shell hiding a soul full of scars that never healed a man, always fighting his own demons. However, that tumultuous and painful journey had to come to an end. On July 3, 2025, Michael Madsen passed away at the age of 67 from a heart attack. His passing left a great void in the hearts of film fans. The legacy he left behind is not just over 300 roles, but a thought-provoking life story of a great talent, a sensitive soul who had to battle his own demons until his last breath. Johnny Lewis as Mason. In CSI Miami, the role of Mason was just a small part in one episode, but it was a stepping stone for a promising young talent. A new face with soulful eyes. Johnny Lewis' performance at the time at age 20 showed great potential, and just a few years later he became a star with his role as Kip Halfsack Epps in the hit series Sons of Anarchy, a role that brought him to a wide audience. Johnny Lewis' career was at its peak. He was part of one of television's most beloved series, but a tragedy changed everything. In 2011, a high-speed motorcycle accident left him with a severe traumatic brain injury. From then on, his life became a series of increasingly erratic and violent behaviors. He refused treatment, and that stubbornness pushed him further away from the spotlight and closer to a darkness with no escape. His personal tragedy deepened when he lost custody of his daughter, a loss that carved even deeper into his unhealed wounds from a rising star. He became someone in constant trouble with the law, besieged by mental illness, addiction, and extreme isolation. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems his role as Kip Halfsack, a somewhat naive young man in a violent world who was searching for a family, was a complete opposite of his tragic fate. While his character found a family in the motorcycle club in real life, Johnny Lewis lost everything, including his own family. However, that tragic journey had to come to a horrifying and incomprehensible end. On September 26, 2012, Johnny Lewis died at the age of 28 after falling from a roof just after having killed his 81-year-old landlady in a fit of psychosis. His passing left a great void and a chilling conclusion. The legacy he left behind is not just his roles, but a thought-provoking life story of a talent destroyed by injury and mental illness. a cautionary tale about the wounds that cannot be seen. Lisa Sheridan as Kathleen Newberry. In CSI Miami, the role of Kathleen Newberry was a guest part that showcased the subtle and sharp performance of a rising actress, one who could capture the audience's attention even in a short amount of time. Lisa Sheridan's performance at the time at age 28 was promising, a beautiful face with an ability for internal acting. Lisa Sheridan's career was on an upward trajectory with roles in series like Freaky Links and Invasion, but behind the camera, she was fighting a silent and devastating battle. Her life became increasingly fragile as alcohol and prescription drugs appeared, turning joys into obsessions. Depression engulfed her, and the breakup with her partner actor Ron Livingston, to whom she had been engaged, left a huge void that she could never fill. The glamorous image on television was just a thin veneer hiding a woman sinking into a mental breakdown. Each of her later roles seemed to carry a note of sadness, as if she were embedding into her characters the emotions she couldn't express in real life. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. There seems to be a painful contrast between the image of a beautiful, successful actress on screen and the dark reality she faced. Her roles were often strong women, capable of solving problems, but in real life she was a fragile soul who was breaking down in silence. However, that promising journey had to come to an end. On February 25, 2019, Lisa Sheridan passed away at the age of 44. The cause of death was determined to be complications from chronic alcoholism and benzodiazepine abuse, with no indication of suicide. Her passing left a great void. The legacy she left behind is not just her roles, but a thought-provoking life story about the silent battle with mental illness and addiction diseases, often hidden behind the smiles of the famous. Jonathan Togo as Ryan Wolf. In CSI Miami, the character Ryan Wolf was a zealous rookie, always trying to prove himself, sometimes obsessed with perfection and the rules. Jonathan Togo's performance at the time at age 27 brought a fresh energy, a necessary tension, and sometimes conflict to the team's dynamic. Jonathan Togo's career took off with this role, bringing him international fame, but his personal life was not smooth. A broken marriage to actress Diora Baird, after only 3 years, left deep emotional scars. His career was no longer as bright as before, while family responsibilities demanded sacrifices, causing him to often face a sense of emptiness and cracks in his soul. He had to find a balance between being a father and a career that was no longer at its peak. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Ryan Wolf, someone who was always fighting to find his place to be recognized, reflected his own real-life struggle to find balance after personal breakdowns and career changes. Today, at the age of 48, Jonathan Togo lives a quieter life, focusing on smaller projects and spending time with his family. He has found happiness in a new marriage. His journey is a story of growing through loss and of finding peace after the storms of both life and career. Adam Rodriguez as Eric Delco. In CSI Miami, the character Eric Delco was a diving and evidence collection expert, a loyal member, and the heart of the team. Adam Rodriguez's performance at the time at age 27 brought a confident, charming, and strong presence to the character, making him one of the series' most popular faces. But behind that appearance was a difficult journey to prove himself. From the moment he stepped into Hollywood, Adam Rodriguez faced heavy racial prejudice due to his Puerto Rican and Cuban heritage. Rejected roles and slammed doors often pushed him to despair. But instead of giving up, he found strength by creating his own path. He started writing scripts, directing some episodes of CSI Miami itself, proving that his talent was not limited by his skin color or background. The humiliations became his motivation, forging him into a powerful storyteller, a versatile artist. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Eric Delco was a complete opposite of what he had to go through. While the character was part of a diverse team where talent was valued in real life, that very diversity was a barrier for him. But it was that struggle that helped him become stronger and more multi-talented, not just an actor, but a creator. Today, at the age of 50, Adam Rodriguez continues his acting career while also being a successful director and screenwriter appearing in major films, like Magic Mike. He lives happily with his wife, model Grace Gale, and their 3 children, having found peace after years of battling prejudice. His journey is a testament to relentless effort and the ability to turn adversity into opportunity. David Caruso as Horatio Kane. In CSI Miami, the character of Horatio Kane was the soul, the irreplaceable icon, the definition of cool. With his signature tilted stance, the iconic sunglasses put on and taken off with dramatic flair, and the classic one-liners at the end of each scene, he was the embodiment of integrity, mystery, and a bit of camp. David Caruso's performance at the time, at age 46, created one of the most memorable television characters of all time, a pop culture phenomenon. After a roller coaster film career, including a controversial departure from the hit series NYPD Blue at the height of his fame, the role of Horatio Kane brought David Caruso back to the pinnacle and made him one of the highest-paid stars on television. However, behind the image of the steadfast, unshakable leader on screen was a turbulent personal life. He went through 3 broken marriages, high-profile lawsuits from ex-girlfriends, and even harassment allegations on set. It seemed that the greater his fame, the more the dark corners of his life came into focus. And then, in 2012, after the series ended, he made a shocking decision. He announced his retirement and completely disappeared from the spotlight. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Horatio Kane was a complete opposite of his fate. While on screen, the character was a calm man, always in control of every situation, a steady rock in real life. David Caruso was a man whose personal life was full of turmoil and controversy. He created an icon of stability, while his own life was anything but stable. An ironic contrast. Today, at the age of 69, David Caruso continues to live a life completely separate from Hollywood. He focuses on his art business, running a gallery in Miami and a fashion store. His journey is a testament to the fact that one can reach the peak of fame and then choose to leave it all behind in search of a peaceful life. And he continues to be an enigma to the public, a star who turned off his own spotlight. Rex Linn as Frank Tripp. In CSI Miami, the character Sergeant Frank Tripp was a steady presence, a gruff but loyal old soldier who brought the reality of street-level police work to the glamorous lab. Rex Linn's performance at the time, at age 46, was so natural it seemed he was born to play the part with his uniform and his gruff but reliable demeanor. But the journey to that role was full of hardship and surprises. Before becoming an actor, Rex Linn was a banker who lost everything after his bank went bankrupt, an event that forced him to start over as an adult. He struggled with temporary jobs and minor roles for many years, forging a patience and the pain of someone always looking for a place to belong. After years of loneliness, he found love late in life with country music. Queen Reba McEntire, a Hollywood fairy tale romance. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Frank Tripp, a reliable man, was the destination that Rex Linn himself had struggled his whole life to reach. The stability and certainty his character had was something he had to pay for, with years of instability and searching. His late-in-life romance also reflects a persistence that happiness can come when we least expect it. Today, at the age of 69, Rex Linn continues his acting career, appearing in major series like Young Sheldon and enjoying a happy life. His journey is a testament to relentless perseverance and the belief that it's never too late to start over and find happiness both in career and in love. Emily Proctor as Callie Duquesne. In CSI Miami, the character Callie Duquesne was an intelligent and courageous ballistics expert, the gun-toting Southern belle. With her gentle but determined smile and an intelligence that was never inferior to her male colleagues, Callie became one of the most beloved characters, a strong female role model. Emily Proctor's performance at the time, at age 34, brought a warmth, reliability, and strength to the investigative team. After her success with the series, Emily Proctor continued her acting career, but her life faced immense challenges. Becoming a mother at 42 brought difficulties and a shift in priorities, forcing her to scale back her work. But the biggest tragedy struck in 2025 when her beloved home in Pacific Palisades was destroyed in a horrific wildfire. All her possessions, every precious memento, everything she had built was lost in the flames, leaving a painful void. The strong, confident woman from the screen now had to face a terrible loss and rebuild everything from the ashes. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Callie Duquesne, someone who was always piecing together the fragments of crime scenes from bullets, strangely mirrored her life. In real life, Emily Proctor also had to learn how to piece her own life back together after a devastating loss to find strength from within the rubble of her own life. Today, at the age of 57, Emily Proctor lives a quieter life. She focuses on her nonprofit organization called Groundbreakers and her interior design business. Her journey is a testament to the ability to overcome adversity. A story of resilience, from a woman who had to face fire both on and off the screen and who found a new purpose after tragedy.